Because if the only thing in your life that brings you meaning is relationships, then of course you're going to obsess over your relationships. Want them? Then don't obsess. Hi guys, my name is Christine, and today I'm discussing if you want them, don't obsess. So before we get into this video, if you haven't done so already, please leave a like on it and please do subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you would like me to discuss something in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments. Or if you have any tips or any stories that you may think may benefit other people, then also leave those in the comments as well. Thank you so much. So if you want them, don't obsess. So the first point I want to get into is, how do you know if you have become obsessed with your crush or your ex, or with someone that you're interested in, or with your current girlfriend or boyfriend, or with someone you've just started dating? Like, how do you know if you are obsessive? So I think one of the main ones is probably like your social media activity. It's so easy these days to obsess over someone because a lot of people's profiles are public. You can see people's photos, you can see people's statuses, you can see we have such a, I think it's called like an internet footprint. Like, there's a lot of people that have big internet footprints. So for example, someone like me, like I have quite a big one because I have a website, I have an Instagram account, I have a TikTok, I have like a LinkedIn profile, I have a YouTube channel with hundreds of videos with my face on it. So I've got quite a big internet footprint. So I'm very easily stalkable, basically. And a lot of people are also the same, that they might not have as much as what I do, but they still probably will have an Instagram profile. They'll probably have like a Facebook account that you can go and look at and find, or, you know, so it's very easy to stalk people these days, especially on the internet. And most of it is kind of risk-free because if you're stalking someone's Facebook, let's say, for example, there's no way that that person will know if you're stalking their profile unless, let's say, you like one of their like posts from like 5 years ago. Then they'll probably be able to tell if you're stalking them or not. But usually it's kind of risk-free, like they won't know that you're stalking them. So one of the things obviously then to show if you are obsessing over someone is how often you check their social media profiles. Like if you're always like refreshing their pages, or if you keep on checking every few hours to see if they've posted something new, to rewatch their stories or to watch their new stories. So that's kind of one of the ways you can tell if you're obsessing. Like if you're like searching for their like internet footprint as well. So you might type their name into like Google and then click on every single result that comes. So that's kind of one of the ways you can tell if you are really obsessing over someone, is how often you are using your free time to look at their social media pages or their internet footprint. Another way to tell really is your daydreams. Like when you're having a moment alone, you know, how often do you daydream about them? Are you listening to like meditations to like attract a specific person? I can't believe that there are meditations and hypnosises on YouTube on how to attract a specific person. It really, really feeds into obsession and obsessing over someone. So basically, if you're doing any of that kind of stuff, then you probably are a little bit too obsessed. Now, first of all, don't be too worried about it and don't feel too bad about it, because we've all been there. I used to do that kind of stuff, especially when I was a teenager, and it's definitely something I'm not proud of, but now I know that, hey, you know what, a lot of people do it. And it's not that uncommon, especially because it's so easy to stalk someone, especially online. It's so easy to obsess over people. So firstly, don't feel too bad about it, but it is a toxic habit. It is something that you want to stamp out because it just feeds into your investment of this person. And if you're overly invested in this person that you like, unfortunately, it's going to come across. And they're probably going to be able to tell when you meet up with them, if you go on a date with them, when you're just interacting with each other, they'll be able to tell how invested you are in them because you've spent all of this time looking at their social media pages, daydreaming about them, listening to love songs about them. You've spent all of your emotional energy day to day, day in, day out on them. So when you meet them, when you see them in person, and when you talk to them, you're going to feel like your heart's racing. You're going to, because you've had all this investment in them. So that's how you kind of know if you are obsessed with someone. So how do you stomp it out? How do you start to lower these obsessive feelings? Because the reason why you got obsessed was because you are investing so much of your time into them, a lot of your free time, you know, idly looking at their social media pages. And if you've been doing that, obviously the reverse then, to stop doing that, is to focus your attention on something else. Now obviously don't focus your attention on someone else, because if you do that, then you'll just start obsessing with this new person. So basically what you want to do is you just want to find other things in your life that bring you a lot more meaning, you know, not just this person that you have a crush on or you're obsessing over. So you want to have more of your focus and attention on other things. So obviously you probably have things that you are naturally drawn to. So let's say you really like creating music, you really like painting, it might be you really like playing video games and you'd love to be like a professional esports player. You probably have these things in your life that you are naturally drawn to. So if you do, which you probably do, then I highly suggest that you start investing more of your time into those things. So one of the things that helped me, and this is not particularly with obsessing, but what kind of stopped me from having like I guess you could say, other issues in my life, like depressive thoughts, kind of like mindless eating, those kinds of things. What helped me with those kinds of things was listening to YouTube, mostly like seminars, audiobooks. Having an Audible account is like a really good thing to have. So you've got something else that you're doing with your phone as opposed to scrolling on social media or doing, you know, something else. You know, having those distractions in place that are good for you. So I would listen to like personal development stuff. Now obviously you might not want that. Perhaps you want to listen to like podcasts on art because you're an artist. So obviously find content that you like. And then listen to that stuff in your free time. Or in your free time, you could also make it a combination of actually doing something. So if you are an artist, then you can paint. Or if you want to be a writer, then write. Have other things in your life that bring you meaning and not just relationships. Because if the only thing in your life that brings you meaning is relationships, then of course you're going to obsess over your relationships. Whereas if you have other things in your life that bring you meaning, so it could be hanging out with your friends, it could be giving some kind of service to others in some way, it could be helping people with their problems on like a forum, on something like Quora or Yahoo Answers. You know, have something else in your life that brings you meaning. In fact, don't just have one, have multiple things that bring you meaning. And once you have different things to like kind of obsess over, shall we say, that are good for you, that are actually meaningful, like creating something, like building something, like discussing things with other people, discussing topics, helping other people, being some kind of service to others. And when you direct your thoughts to that, then you'll start to obsess over this person less and less, because the reason why you've become obsessed is because you've invested too much time in that person. So the opposite of that then obviously is to become invested in other things, but most importantly in things that are actually good for you, that aren't toxic. So exercise could be another one of those things, like having a healthy body, looking up like places where you can join like group walks or going to like yoga classes or join a gym like boxing, kickboxing, taekwondo. You have other things that you can like do as opposed to just being on your computer or your phone all the time. And if you can't help but be on your phone or computer all the time, so let's say you have a job where you have to use your phone or your PC or your laptop all the time, and it's very easy to stalk whoever this is online or obsess over them somehow, then use it in a different way. So for example, like you might have to get rid of all your social media apps, or you might just have to have a app, let's say like YouTube, especially if you've got the free version. Because if you're playing YouTube on the free version of it and not the premium version, you can't really do anything else on your phone but watch YouTube. So if you've got like things that you're listening to, like TED Talks, like seminars, like, I don't know, like university lectures or something, and you're having that playing on in the background, then you can't really click out of it, especially if you have been obsessing with your phone. And I think most people use their phone these days as opposed to like a PC, unless they're doing like gaming or something. So that's kind of like one kind of hack that you could use to stop you from scrolling social media and stuff. But again, like, I think one of the best ways to do it is, especially if you are really obsessing, is to have a social media detox and to get rid of those apps on your phone or on your computer for a while, and not use them to just help you with the process. But distraction is the best thing. But for it to be extra beneficial, I highly recommend that you distract yourself with things that are actually good for you, that are going to do good for you. Like, feeding your brain with lectures or audiobooks, or focusing your time on exercising, working out, or helping other people. And that's kind of how you stop obsessing over someone. You just have to simply find other things in your life that bring you meaning other than your relationships. Because if your relationships are the main thing in your life, and more specifically that person you're obsessing over, then of course you are going to obsess over them, because it's the only thing in your life that brings you meaning. And if this is someone that actually does like you back, once they notice your withdrawal into your other things, the other things you like to do, the things that bring you more meaning, they will start reaching out to you, because at this point, I imagine that you are the one that's probably always initiating contact with them. But if you focus on other things and you have other things going on in your life, and you're not initiating contact all of the time, then eventually they will start coming to you if they like you, if they have the same feelings for you as well. And if you have things in your life that bring you meaning and you're very ambitious about those things, you're going to come across more attractive anyway, because it's very rare to meet someone who has a lot of ambition, who loves their life, who loves their work, who has lots of different things going on in their life that they love. That kind of person is very rare. So your aim is to actually become one of those people, and then you will attract loads of people into your life. And even this person that you have been obsessing over. If you would like to get in touch with me personally, then you can do so by going to www.christineloveridge.com/shop. And I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Bye guys.